Hey, everyone. This is Dr. Kennard here. General rule, if there's no one here joining me for the after party after show, which is fine, but then I'm gonna give 5 minutes. I'm gonna give 5 minutes before signing off. Right? Good morning. Good afternoon to Wild Eden. And it's good and Dave, I think Dave is still earlier. You're earlier than I am. Early morning over there on the West Coast. Of what's up, Godless Scummer? John Hudson. See, there's always someone that pops in, but I don't know. John Hudson may be having difficulties. How are you, John Hudson?
I'm good.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Looks like I'm blank this morning again.
Looks like you got to talk to your 5-year-old.
Got to working the other day. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know, man. You know, it is. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could help you technically. What's up, Tobin Templeman? Tobin might be having technical difficulties too.
Well, we got a couple of dripping dots yesterday. Dipping dots. It's what they call snow.
Is that what they call snow?
That's what I call snow here.
All right.
They call it grapple or something like that. Frozen rain.
Oh, well, frozen rain is nasty. That is just, yeah.
Well, as quick as it hit the concrete, it turned to water and evaporated because it was 80 degrees the day before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, there you go. Tobin, how are you, sir?
Doing well. Yeah, got to stay indoors during all that sleet and hail that we got.
Sleet and hail. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good at all. Got a small echo coming from you, I think, sir, but maybe not. I don't know. I saw your video of your newest song there, Mr. Tobin. Very nice.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good work on that.
It was good. I actually watched it 3 times just because, because it was good.
Yeah. It is interesting. I mean, I'm a narcissist. I wouldn't do comedy. I wouldn't be doing what I do here if I wasn't a bit of a narcissist. But it is interesting about how I use my time. It's like, about well, I know I want to see Tobin stuff. And then there's someone hitting me up on Facebook Messenger who I don't know, who says they want to be my friend. Smells like a scam. And it turns out it's 95% chance it is a scam. So,
well, I was plugging your stuff too yesterday, Andy. The Only Sky.
I saw that, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Big rollout on Only Sky, and I have hopes. I have hopes, everyone, that it's going to be big. I will say that even though it doesn't matter how much traffic I bring in, right, to any site that I belong to. This is the same thing for Pathos non-religious. They're like, whenever they talk about, oh, these are the big people that we have on the site, they never mention me. They're like, this guy, he's kind of with us, but we kind of we treat him like the Trojan horse to bring people into the site, through comedy and laughter. It's like, okay, as long as the checks keep rolling in, I don't care.
Well, it's like the comedy burrito. It's what you got, 6,000 people.
Yeah, I got like 6,000 people.
But you can only get 20 people onto this show. I mean, at a given time, it's ludicrous. I mean, your best stuff is here.
Well, I would say, that is an interesting. Yep. Okay, I'll go with that. I've been trying to figure out how not to argue with people complimenting me. It's an uphill battle.
It's time to piss off and shove off.
Absolutely not, sir. Yeah. It's weird. Well, when I don't know. I can tell you, and if you hang around or you see me on other platforms or other people's YouTube channels, and we start talking shop, right? We talk shop about how to make viral things, how to do viral posts. Like some of my posts, take it, Andy, take the compliment. I will. Thank you, Dave. I need someone here to keep me in check about that. But there are things that you can say that, well, this particular post or short video or whatever has a chance to go viral. But there are things that just happened, and you look at your statistics, your stats, your analytics, and you go, I have no idea what happened. Like the other day on the Laughing in Disbelief Facebook page, I got 2,000 new followers, 2,000 new likes, and I'm like, I have no idea what happened. I have no idea why that spike happened, but it did. I'm happy about it.
Well,
and
Phoenix put out some cheesy pictures that we was doing Olin Mills style with the in the background, and the kids are holding soccer balls, and then just being goofballs, and then she does the picture in the background and they look so 1980s, and she put them out on her TikTok, and it booked I think she was saying 8 new weddings.
Wow, dude, that's great.
She picked up off that. And it's just crazy. And we was just, it's the ones that where I was sitting on the ladder, and just, we was just being as goofy as we could with them pictures. And then she puts them out on her TikTok, and it's like, oh, we want you to do our wedding.
That's great. Well, there's, there is an argument that there's a saying, right, that quantity has a quality to itself. So in other words, if you just produce a lot of content, or a good amount of content, and I'm going to say stupid things, because, those of us who are math literate, or at least have a sense of numbers, know that, gosh, the greater amount of content that you create, the greater chance that something hits, right? Or something, resonates with people.
Well, she has double book. I think it's mid-April anyhow. She was booked for one and asked if I wanted to go shoot it. Right. And it's, the people are in their 40s. It's the first time they've been married, both of them, but they have money. And it's going to be out on Lake Austin.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They've got a boat. So I get to, and she's like, we don't want to do all the cheesy ring and stuff. Just, we want candid pictures. So I'll be out there for 2 hours. It's $800. Good. And I get drinks and lunch.
Oh, drinks. And you had me at drinks, sir. You had me at drinks.
That's one thing I do like about this is, because we do the engagements and such prior to where we build a relationship with these people. Yeah. And so when we show up at these weddings, we're like guests, and they treat us as family.
Well, here's the thing, John, and you just hit it right there, is that I've had like a ton of conversations with different content creators, authors, YouTubers, podcasters, and they talk about the need for doing, and ads are great. I've run ads. My first viral post on Atheists Non-Religious was thanks to was due to a Facebook ad. There's a little echo there somewhere. And, but really where you get the most benefits in the long term is from the relations that you make with people, right? They're the relationships that you just make organically, that you're not looking, it's not transactional. It's not something you're looking for anything in particular. It's just like, hey, I kind of glom onto what you're doing, and I just want to have a conversation, or I want to hang out, or whatever. That's what really benefits you in the long term, right? Well, it doesn't matter what field you're in.
In the construction business, the first 5 years I was doing advertising, I was really hitting the pavement and such, and it got to where it was just referral only. Yeah. To where I didn't even have business cards or anything towards the last 10 years of it, and I built a reputation with these doctors and professors who were probably 90% of my business, and they just kept me busy.
That's good. That's good, dude. D Parks. I did, just talking about the show The Witcher. We did finish this season, the girlfriend and I, of The Witcher. Happy, more or less with the season. We are going through Game of Thrones right now. We're kind of like binging through Game of Thrones. So, yeah. But just back to your point, John Hudson. Yeah, that's why if you can't afford to throw a couple of shekels in, or become a YouTube member or whatever, I mean, you can always talk to people about the shows, right?
I've been tight on the money because Nick took off the time with the baby, and Phoenix was off too. Phoenix was getting paid, and so just kind of tightened up the belt. Nick is back to work. He went out for an interview on Monday. They had him stay there and do their training thing, and he's in the office now rather than in the field doing estimations.
Yeah. He's it's a union gig too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a union gig too, with the IBW, and he's $35 an hour is what they started him out as.
That's good. Good
sitting in the office, I'm like, you do that, boy. And the thing about the union is, he'll have the pension with the local union, and then the national union too, with what he's doing.
John, when we talk about pensions and union jobs, for a lot of people, it sounds like, here in the States at least, it sounds like we're talking about the before time. When a majority of people, or a lot of people, had union jobs and had real pensions and weren't living in fear of being destitute in their old age. It's my dad. My dad was a member of IBEW. He was I think he got his associate's degree in electrical engineering and worked for the phone company for years. Good union job, never went into management, still was able to afford 2 houses, 3 cars, that kind of lifestyle. And he worked hard, but back then, that's the kind of life that you could have with a good blue collar job. And most of those positions are gone, because of union breaking, because of oligarchy and the Republicans.
Yeah, the electrical field has a very strong union down here. Like it's a considered a brotherhood, but it really helps keep things together, like the regulations and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
Well, we everything. Am I cutting out?
I think you just cut out for a second there, John Hudson.
Okay. It's like the signs that we have in front of the house at Proud Union House and such.
Mm-hmm.
They're all printed by union companies. The T-shirts, the swag that comes through the union, it's all done through other union companies, and it's quality. It's quality. Nick got me a couple T-shirts because I am pro-union, and I like to advertise it. And he got me a couple T-shirts, and damn, they're nice shirts.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Chris Maria, my parents paid off their student loans in 4 years after school. It took me 20. True story. Not telling tales out of school. This is well. Let me continue that. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm not a loser. You just grew up in a different time. This is true. Those of you who have kids or have looked at the statistics know that the price of college, on the average, has been rising 9% a year, consistently. 9% a year. Wages have grown on an average much smaller than that, like 1 or 2%, maybe. If you're working a minimum wage job, then you're not actually, when you look at inflation, you're not increasing how much you bring home. A guy, Rick, who runs the comedy studio, who's around ages with me, maybe a little bit younger, he just paid off his school loans a couple of years ago. And he's a couple of years younger than I am. That's insane. That's crazy. And the money's there. The money's there to fund people. The money's there to get people free tuition.
It is sad. I would totally do more schooling and stuff like that, but the cost of it is incredible.
Yeah, it is. When you don't get, if suddenly I had a lot more money, right? I mean, and don't get me wrong, I am not uncomfortable. I live an okay lifestyle, At least for me, right? I mean, I'm cheap and I never made a lot of money, but I've always saved money. But yeah, if I had more money, then I would definitely do more school. I would go back to school probably full time, to tell you the truth, and work on my master's or a PhD in something, or at least take some classes at the very least. But yeah, there is a cost. There's costs involved in turn, money and time.
Yeah. I actually, the last time I went to school, I didn't even get to really finish, and I got hit up. They took our money from our tax refunds. There was no way to escape it. They were getting theirs. They straight up, it didn't even like get to us, and then we gave them their part. They just straight up took it out before it even came to us.
Yeah, there's a lot of predatory lending when it comes to school loans. I had a friend whose kid had a disability. This is years ago, and this kid got conned into going into one of those private, for-profit schools. Shelled out a lot of money, dropped out. And this is a true story. This kid, he took an entrance exam to get into the school to see if he was capable of doing the work, and the administrator was there in the same room giving him answers. The kid dropped out, $40,000 in debt later, and his mom, single mom, working hard at a job, was able to negotiate them down to $20,000, which is still a ripoff. It's still a ripoff.
It's so lopsided and just backwards. Like it seems like we could have all those nice things and still yet be I don't know, lenient towards people who are like not as well funded, or I don't know how I'm.
Well, no, there's definitely a stream in U.S. society. There's definitely a vibe, a way of thinking about poverty that and it comes from this kind of puritanical history, that if you're poor, then you deserve it, right? And that it's a sin, and that in a lot of ways it's illegal. It should be criminalized being poor, right? And you can see how it's changed over the decades too. It's like from having one job to having two jobs. No, from having one job to having both people in a relationship having to work, and then having each couple in a relationship having to have a job and then a side hustle on top of that. It's a system that can't work. That's unsustainable in the long term.
Yeah, like you're just talking about minimum wage. Like there's no way to live off of minimum wage. No. Like most apartments, if you want to like be like the cheapest way to live is like getting an affordable apartment,
Yeah.
Which if you make certain amount of money, at least here in Texas, there are places where you can get cheaper apartments. But even then, even having a minimum wage job will not get you into a place, even if you've been working it for an extensive amount of time.
Yeah.
Like you have to make 3 times the amount in order to get into these kind of places, which a minimum wage job isn't going to do that.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about rent, not including, everything else that goes into living.
Yeah, I'm looking at a site called Living Wage and it's an MIT. And because I Googled living wage in Massachusetts or in Boston, Cambridge, and Newton, and I call BS. I think that the people who made this calculation are not poor people, because they're saying one person a living wage in the Boston, Newton, Cambridge area, which is super expensive, it's $19.17. And I don't, I, I, I don't see how making $19 because rent is so high to begin with. If you're Boston and Cambridge, it's one of the most expensive areas to live in terms of rent. And it's just gotten, I mean, it's gotten a little bit better during the pandemic because people have been moving out of the city, but it's still super expensive to rent out a one-person apartment. There are people who are my age and older who have to have roommates because they can't afford a single apartment, a one-room apartment. Yeah, so yeah, it's crazy. You can't live off a night. When you walk into there's a supermarket down the street, and then I walk into it and they say, well, we're starting, and this is a badge of honor for them. It's like, we're starting people off at $14.50 an hour. It's like, yeah, that's still poverty wages. That's still starvation wages.
Yeah, I feel like I found we made a sacrifice. Like, seriously, dude, we lived in tents for a year. Like, the first time we bought the property, and we did have a period of time in which we were staying inside of a motel. And I was clearing the land and making it to where we could have a little spot back here. And then like that basically dropped our cost of living huge once we stopped staying at the motel.
Oh yeah.
And we're here on the property. It really gave us a financial freedom I don't think we would have ever gotten to.
Yeah. Dude, I have to tell you, not having money is very expensive. It is very expensive not to have money.
Yeah. I mean, we have done the homeless thing. Like, we've slept in cars, and we've been working at these points in times too. It's nuts, dude. It's nuts.
How is it that a person can work a job and still be impoverished? That just seems to be criminal. That seems to be a criminal system, an economic criminal, a gangster system, and you wonder why there's crime. You wonder why there's crime, right?
Yeah, you get in these desperate situations. I mean, we were willing to be like, okay, we'll put all of our nice things inside of a storage unit, and we're going to live in a freaking tent. Yeah. I mean, we got to that point where we're like, there's got to be some kind of way around this.
Yeah. It's well, congratulations on. It seems like you worked hard, and you're able to MacGyver your way, around that, dude.
Yes. Yeah, we may not be like stinking rich, but we get to enjoy the types of food that we want to enjoy.
That's good.
And all those other things. We have nice phones and stuff.
Good. John Christian says you did well. You did well, man. You did well, Tobin. Yeah.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
Yeah, it becomes a question at a certain point, like how much money do you need, right? What your needs are, what your wants are, and there's a lot of people who've been fooled by this kind of system that we live in, this economic system, that they always need to have more, that they need to have more crap, they need to have more stuff, and that's not going to necessarily make you any happier, right? That's not going to necessarily make you any happier.
Jason the Joneses. Yep.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah, dude. It's so what do you got? Shifting gears a little bit, you got anything going on this weekend?
I am going to go play a Sherlock game with the Atheist Edge channel, Jim Hall. I'm
intrigued.
He started doing this thing to where we we put up a picture, and then we all try to guess what type of person lives in this place. And some of the people on the panel, if you feel comfortable, you share a photo, and then basically everybody's trying to figure out whose photos is whose. So it's kind of like a Sherlock
No,
guessing game. It's
right.
to strengthen your abductive reasoning skills.
Interesting. I've been taught. One of the things I want to do on Only Sky, or on Only Joking, at least the joking section of Only Sky, is to do these live streaming kind of events. Um, but I don't think it's there yet. I think our tech people are working on it, but I don't know if it's possible to do as of yet. But something like that would be really fun.
Man, that's going to be a big resource. I'm going to, yeah, that is going to be a resource for me. I can tell. Like, there are so many subjects that site has, and yeah, like you're talking about, they're going to be adding a video. I was reading some last night about the functions that are going to start rolling out as it goes along.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out. And I have schemes, I have plans, but we'll see how it plays out. Yeah. But it isn't a question of what and this, being a musician, is that it isn't the lack of ideas that you have, right? It's just trying to choose which one and how do you spend your time, right? How to portion your time out.
Yeah, I'm like in that right now. Like, I have to complete the project, and not for anybody else. It is like a thing about myself, because I have started so many projects.
Yeah.
And then some of them I got bored with it and I walked away, and some of them, if there was something else that kind of made it to where I could not finish it.
Yeah.
But like, that has become a thing about me. It's like a pet peeve. Like, I do not like leaving things unfinished.
Yeah, I'll start some, or I'll think of something, and then I get kind of jazzed, because if you're a writer, if you're a content creator, if you're a musician, there's always this afterglow of creation, or the afterglow of this kind of, oh wow, this is the best idea I've ever had. And typically it's good to put it on a shelf, and then come back to it maybe 24 hours later, and then take a look at it and go, is this really as good as I thought it was? Because at the time it seemed like a really kick-ass idea, but now as I look at it, it smells like shit. This is actually a really bad idea. I'm going to just put it somewhere else. Yeah. So what I'm thinking about is, and this is my new theory about my ADHD attempt to organize my workflow. See, I'm going to have all these Post-it notes. I'm just going to put them on the wall, right, of stuff I need to do. Maybe I'll have different color Post-its. Maybe I'll have different color Post-its about the really important stuff I should do, and the stuff I should have done like 3 weeks ago. Because there's some of that, everyone. There's some of that stuff I should have done like 3 weeks ago. And I think I'm just going to get a bunch of these, because my girlfriend, she is super organized, which is good for me, to tell you the truth. So I'm just going to like do all these Post-its. One thing to do with one Post-it. That's it. One task, one Post-it. I'm going to start just putting them up on the wall. You won't be able to see them here, of course, because they'll be off screen. But I think that could be a way for me to organize myself. I don't know.
Right on. Yeah, I have a to-do list, but I don't always see it. I do use it, but at times it's so in the, like, it's on my devices, so I don't always have that open.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about the devices. Like, I've tried the to-do list on the. Well, there's a couple of hacks here, and for those, So when you think about how to remember something, right, there's been a bunch of studies that show that if you physically write it down with a pen or a paper or a crayon, whatever, if you write it down physically, then you're more likely to remember it than if you're just going to type it down or do a voice memo or whatever. And so I'm thinking, and this is what this is one of the hacks, right? If you're going to school, if you're studying for whatever project. I'm a big believer in note cards myself. When I was in school, I would just have all these note cards to work my brain with. So I'm thinking the Post-its with the writing down and the posting up, like within my view, within my line of sight. I think it'll be, yeah, it's going to be, it is. You're right, theoretically. I see where you're going with this. 2 weeks later, Andy's apartment is going to look like some obsessed conspiracy theorist wall. It probably will. It probably will.
With strings attached to it.
Right. It's like, I got to do this one, but then I got to do that one too. But I can't do that one until I get that one done. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get your order of events going, right?
Right. The grassy knoll, the lone gunman, the impossible bullet, all that stuff. Well, that's good, John Christian. Being retired has given me more time to write. I'll tell you this is that I am working, but I'm working about 28 hours, 27 and a half, around that, 27 and a half hours a week. And I can do that because, it's a decent job. And I have money coming in, of course, from other sources. And I've saved a lot of money in my life. Well, not a lot of money, but I've saved money in my life too. So I am able to do this without driving myself crazy, because one of the my main rules is not to go crazy. That's like my goal. Like if there was like one post-it to rule them all, it would be don't go crazy.
I second that.
Yeah.
That's a good goal.
Oh, you're heading out, Crypto Mario? Much love and hope. Yeah, I hope you have a good weekend too. I hope you have a better weekend. I hope things turn around. And I'm getting awfully bright here. Yeah. I'm going to go. Tobin, hold it right there. I'm just going to close the blinds a little bit because I'm backlit here. I'm backlit with some natural lighting, and this is the problem. Be right back, folks.
Hello, Theo and John. I enjoy the comments and stuff that y'all add to the chat and stuff. I look forward to hanging out and interacting with y'all. I really do.
Because my eyes are so sensitive to the light, there's always a small chance that I get these after images quite a bit. I don't talk about my migraines too much because I don't really get migraines too often. I've been able to manage that, but there's always a chance that when my eyes get effed with sunlight really fast, they'll trigger something. So, but I'm okay now, honest. I'm fine. I can see kind of perfectly.
Yeah, light. Oh man, that can give me a devastating headache.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I get these. I've had these ophthalmic migraines, and so what it is, it's like this zigzag line that comes up through my line of sight, and they don't always become killing, painful headaches, but sometimes they do. John Christian says, Tobin, you got a new video. You want to talk about the video a bit, Tobin? What the name of it is? What the process was?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it is William T. Cummings. You are wrong. William T. Cummings was a person who kind of popularized the saying that there's no atheist in foxholes. And how I came across doing that topic was whenever I was on Neil's channel, I was doing a deconversion story, and I told the chat, I was like, if y'all can guess what the predominant religion I'm in, I'll write a song towards your topic. You just let me know the subject and I'll take it from there. And Paul was the one who came up. He was like Jehovah's Witness. He figured me out. And I just kind of took it from there. And I've gotten in touch with some other people that helped me get in touch with more people, and we just kind of put a collage together of atheist people who have been in the military.
Yeah.
And I really do. I salute y'all. Y'all awesome. That, you know, I have much respect for y'all.
Cool. Yeah, I think on Messenger, I mentioned Michael Weinstein.
Yes.
Heard him talk years ago when Harvard Humanists were still doing the Humanist Hub in Cambridge in Harvard Square. And he does the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, Military Religious Freedom Foundation. And he's a good speaker, tries to keep the military secular. So he's doing good work.
And I really enjoyed doing the video I did that you inspired too, the Sisyphean. That one came out just like 3 weeks ago, maybe. I had a lot of fun doing that one. I like doing those little skits, and my family actually enjoys it too. So we're having fun doing that, and I want to continue doing more of that.
Yeah, dude.
It's just fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's good. You get a lot of enjoyment out of it, so why not do more, right? Spooky here says, I get those light things in my eye, like a mote that strobes. I get those too. Spooky bed here. I don't know what they are. I just assume that it's my central nervous system doing weird things, because I have the tinnitus in my ears too, which is like this constant ringing. And now that I'm mentioning it, I actually hear it more. But yeah, I think it might be something like that.
I have pondered that. Like that little, are you talking about those little squiggly lines? And then if you try to like focus on them, they go away?
Those are floaters. They're just schmutz in your eye. I think that they're kind of like material that kind of, I used to know what floaters are, but they're relatively harmless unless there's a whole explosion of them all at once. So those are floaters. The phosphenes, I believe that's what they're called, are little flashes of light that kind of like show up. And I had a buddy of mine. Well, he was actually a neuropsychologist who he had his retina detach. So evolution, as many of you know, is not perfect and does actually a pretty crappy job a lot of the times. So your retina can detach from the back of your eye. And this happened to this guy I was working with a person who I'm friendly with, who I was working with. And it just like an explosion of these little light flashes that occurred when that happened. Yeah, you can get it reattached, but it's life-changing, those kind of events. Wine and Reason, Julie, Wine and Reason. There's a group of active duty atheists and Fox subs. Yeah, I think that's a Facebook group, right? Facebook page. Yes, it is the an eye migraine. I know that when I first got diagnosed, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what the phenomenon was. The ophthalmologist that I was at, he said, well, that's an ophthalmic migraine. And I go, oh, so what's that? He goes, well, are you creative? It's like, yeah. Well, that's what happens when you're creative. He just walks out the door. It's like, you're leaving me to go to Google for this. That's what you're doing. You're frustrating. Simply Secular Dave, causing trouble. I read on the internet that when you see tiny things moving in your eye, those are government nanobots changing your mind about breakfast cereal choices. Well, Dave, that's a pretty significant conspiracy theory. Well done on that. Well done. All right. So I want to point out that next week, my schedule, I'm going to go into work early 2 days. I'm not sure which days yet. Probably like Wednesday and Thursday. I'm thinking maybe Tuesday and Wednesday. So that means I'll probably be that means I go into work at 9 because I got to do these trainings. So I go into work at 9. So that means I'll probably push the show back to maybe 7 to an earlier time slot for those 2 days. That's what I'm thinking for next week, just to let everyone know that. So yeah, just be some people like the earlier time, some people don't. I don't know. but it's a necessity. I don't think I would ever. I was talking with a girlfriend about this. It's like, even if they offered me like full time, I don't think I would take it at this point. Things are going okay for me.
As far as like the timing thing, I don't mind either way. I'm gonna be hanging out either way.
Good, man. Good. I know, Dave. A 7 a.m. show here is 4 a.m. over there.
Ooh.
And yeah, that is, an ocular migraine. That's right. The first time I had an ocular migraine, I thought I was having a stroke. Yes. Yes, I could see that. Luckily, I was with someone who got, periodically and knew what they was. Yeah. It does have a stroke-like element character to it. Yeah. Yeah, well, once again, this is not going to be a permanent change, but that's good that you mentioned that, Matthew. I like 9 o'clock myself, because what happens when just to let you know what I do before the actual show starts, I wake up, I do all the Facebook, social media stuff, or I do a lot of it, and then I typically start writing or continue on writing a post, and then I do some last minute stuff for this show, because I do some of the work. I do like probably 75% of the work for this show, like the night before, but then during the morning, I'll like crank out the last 25%. And then I start, that's my mornings. 7 a.m. for you is probably noon here. Yeah, that sounds right. All right. Well, Tobin, I think I'm going to close the show up a little bit early today, because I'm going to get some more work done before going to work.
Yeah, there's responsibilities to take care of.
Yeah. Oh, dude. John Christian, I started having severe migraines when I was 57. At 60, I had a brain aneurysm that ended my career. Should have had, that was the thing. I'll say this, John Christian. When I started getting migraines, my doctor sent me to a neurologist, and they had me go into one of those machines. I think it was an MRI. And yeah, it's, I have to tell you this too, brother. I worked with a guy who had high cholesterol, and he was a person with a disability. And there was always a concern that he would get a blood clot, and we had him get an MRI of his knees. I think it was an MRI of his knees, because he had knee issues too. And it turned out, a little while later, even after the MRI came back and it was good, there was no evidence of anything going wrong. It turned out the guy had a blood clot in his leg. He might probably just got, it just happened. So I'm sorry that happened to you. I just want to say that. But you can do everything right, man. You can do everything right, and things still go sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel for you. Tater tots and pears to everyone. Well, I like tater tots. I'm with you on the tots, Steve Parks. Well, it's good that you're good now. It's good that you're fine, John Christian. I'm happy to hear that. But that's a good rule of thumb, right? That's what doctors and medical professionals will say, is that, if your baseline of what you are experiencing changes dramatically, or if you notice a change, that's when you get yourself to a doctor. Yeah, definitely. All right, everyone. I'll see you on Monday. Normal time on Monday. Tobin, thanks for showing up, having a good conversation, talking about your video, and your name of your channel is Tobin Templeman. Aptly named, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Just being myself. Gonna be genuine.
Yep. Everyone in the chat, thanks. Viewers, lurkers, observers. I'll see you on Monday. Shamala Hamala.
Shamala Hamala.